Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deanna Mate. Hashtag Band Together is a Cox communication initiative to inspire the community with a reminder that we can all go further when we march together. In support of that idea, the pride of Putnam City North and the spirit of West Marching Bands put on a great show together at halftime of the PC North and PC West Ford Game of the Week back in September. Band director Joseph Craven from PC North and Edward Hudson Jr. from PC West tell their stories and will show you the final product of their excellent and unusual collaboration. It was a show, man. Thank you so much for putting that on for us.
Well, thank you for having us, and we're just very honored to have that opportunity.
Well, let's go ahead and tell the viewers a little bit about the man behind the band, so to speak. So how did you get started in music?
Well, I started music early age, started in the church. I went to Classen School of Advanced Studies, a product of Oklahoma City Public Schools, and majored in band. Graduated and went to UCO, got my undergrad, and being a band director, instrumental music education. And I actually started student teaching here at Putnam City West 13 years ago. I did such a good job during my student teaching, they wanted to keep me on. And 13 years later, here I am as the head director. And so I've been very honored and blessed to have many opportunities to work with some amazing kids in our community. I think inspired me was my band director in high school. He actually worked at two schools. He worked at Classen SAS. He also worked at Northeast High School, Mr. Alvin Jernigan. And he really inspired a huge community to just be lovers and followers of great music. And so that's kind of my inspiration and motivated me to do what I do with these kids each and every day. He gave us a chance to show us that we could truly work hard and aspire to do great things. You know, it's not just about music, it's about teaching life skills. And so I try to share that same with all of my students day to day.
So with all that goes on, I remember, being a football player and walking to practice and seeing the band out in the parking lot with their lines measured off and doing the same practicing that we're doing. So with all that goes on, what are some of the things that other people aren't aware of, that the adversity that you guys face year in and year out?
Well, I think the first thing that people might not understand is just the time commitment. I think that's the biggest thing. It takes time to learn the drill. Those are the formations on the field. It takes time to learn the music. It takes time to memorize the music. And then it also takes time to work with others to make sure we know how our part blends with everybody else's. On top of that, there's always those other factors like, do we have enough funding to take care of all the students and what they need? Do we have enough transportation? Do we have enough time in the day to do all the things that we want to do? And then on top of that, it's just the other daily challenges, like just as an athlete, making sure that they're taking care of their scholarship, making sure they're taking care of their classes, making sure that they understand that they're a student first. Before they're a musician, they have to take care of those classes because, just like an athlete, they have to be eligible. And so managing all of that and then their home lives and all of the different things that they have, it can be taxing at times, but our kids are doing a really good job of managing that.
Speaking of taxing, another question I've always wanted to ask, what kind of things would people not know about as far as being physically taxing and being in a band?
I think it's really great that you said that. I think of it like this. From the waist down, the student has to be an athlete. From the waist up, the student has to be a musician. And so if you think about it, we have students moving at fast tempos across the field, doing all types of dance moves while maintaining a good tone and playing with good quality sound, which can take a lot out of a student, so there's a lot of preparation and physical training as well. We do stretches every morning. We have a stretch block and a routine that the kids get acclimated to. We run to keep them conditioned. We have to be very careful about that Oklahoma heat. Every 20 minutes we're getting our students in to get them hydrated, and we're monitoring them through these, Oklahoma summers. You guys know how hot it can get. So we just have to make sure and maintain that, it's just as an athletic opportunity just as other sports.
So with that being said, let's talk about what took place last Friday. You guys and Putnam City North put on a show that I was thoroughly impressed by. Tell us how that came about and how did you guys, even orchestrate that?
It was a great opportunity to showcase our community. So about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we ended up getting an email reaching out saying we're looking for the best band rivalries in the nation. And we were really excited to jump on that because even though we're in band world and we support each other, there is that little bit of friendly competition that we kind of use to kind of edge us over. And
right on.
so, we took that and we ran with it. And so, I spoke with my counterpart at Putnam City North, Joseph Craven. I said, hey, I think this might be a great opportunity for us. Let's jump on it. He was equally excited. And so we ultimately, answered all the questions and were interviewed through a lot of different processes. And, at one point I thought we hadn't made it. We had said we were going to get a call on a Monday. That Monday came and gone. And so I said, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be in the cards. I guess God didn't see it for us right now. But then we got a call the next day and it was just all systems go at that point. We had to create the music. We had to create the drill. We had to figure out a rehearsal schedule that we could both get both of our kids together. So that way we could make this fantastic presentation happen. And then on top of that, we still had to prepare our own competitive shows that were already going on. Like I said, we just had a contest on Saturday. And so last week, our kids had to take the demand of learning this Cox Communications commercial as well as learning our own competitive show that we're using. And so it took a lot of tireless nights, lots of Google Forms, lots of emails, lots of late night texts. But at the end of the day, I think the result was fantastic. Our communities are super excited to be able to be represented on a national stage. And as well, our students are super proud. Like all day today, you can see them standing a little bit taller, walking down the hallway with a little bit more pride, knowing that they represented their community on a national stage.
Man, that's wonderful to hear, and it looks like you got a little bit of a little per diem back there from the commercial as well. So what's that all about?
Cox Communications was super generous by providing this nice donation to our Band Booster program, which is going to help us out a lot. Obviously there's a lot of operating costs that takes into marching band and just band in general, but as well as I want to make sure that we take this money and support our kids, do whatever endeavor it might be through a celebration. Maybe it is going to a contest out of state or doing a travel trip in the spring, just to celebrate all the great things that they've done this year.
Yeah, those trumpets are cheap, aren't they?
That's right.
Well, Edward, thank you so much for joining us, and I really appreciate what you guys did last week and in that commercial. You guys have a phenomenal band, and I hope y'all have so much success going forward this year.
Dion, thank you for the time. We're very honored.
Next up, we'll check in with the director of the Pride of Putnam City North, Joseph Craven, and find out how he got his start in music when Ford High School Weekly continues.
Ford High School Weekly is brought to you by Billy Sims Barbecue. It's not just barbecue, it's Boomer Q.
Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. Let's meet Putnam City North Band Director Joseph Craven, who led the PC North half of #BandTogether. You guys over there, Putnam City North and Putnam City West, put on a show for us last Friday, and we enjoyed it so much we had to get some more information about it. But before we ask you what took place, we want to go ahead and get to know you a little bit better. So how did you get involved in band?
So I got involved in band way a long time ago. I actually, my parents drugged me to piano lessons when I was a little kid. And I'm so thankful they did because, at first, just like any little kid, I didn't like it. I didn't like all the practicing, but, they made me stick with it. And when it came time for me to sort of pick my electives as a middle schooler, I thought, well, hey, I've been taking piano lessons. I like music a lot. I think I'll join band. So joined band, had my little instrument test where they test you out to see which instruments are you going to be best at. They picked, or rather they kind of suggested clarinet to me. So I started on clarinet, played the clarinet for a while in band. And then when I got to high school, I actually moved with my family. I grew up in Austin, Texas. And when we started high school, I moved with my family to Grove, Oklahoma, all up in northeast Oklahoma. And when I did, I was a freshman, and I walked into the high school, and I was enrolled in band, and they said, "What instrument do you play?" And, I wasn't really super fond of the clarinet, so I looked them straight in the eye and said, "I play percussion." And thankfully, I had a little bit of experience playing percussion. I kind of taught myself, and they didn't really bat an eye, and I kind of snuck in the percussion section, and I actually grew up a percussionist throughout high school. Went to college, sort of realized that I really loved music, wanted to do it one way or another. Wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do with it, but knew I was pretty good at it and wanted to do it somehow as a career. And it was my first year in college. A good friend of mine, Mr. Dane Romano, asked me to come out and watch the band that he was working with rehearse. And so I did, and had a lot of fun watching it, and realized that this was something that I really thought, not only that I could do, but also something that I thought, hey, this is a job that looks really hard and challenging, but also looks really rewarding. And it's a job that needs to be done by people who are qualified to do it, because, teaching band it's not all fun and games. It's a lot of hard work, but it's important that these kids get this experience. So I wanted to I kind of realized, hey, this is something that I really want to do, something that looks really rewarding. And so switched my major over from just being a percussionist to music education. And sort of that's how I started my journey as an educator. And interestingly enough, that school that he had me come and observe at was this one that I'm sitting in right here. And so the next year he brought me on as a little percussion tech. I got to work a little bit with some of the percussionists. And then from there, as opportunities arose, I became the assistant director. And then this year is actually my first year as the head director here at PC North.
Now, you mentioned some of the hard work that it takes to be in band and to be in your band specifically. What are some of those things that these students have to endure?
Well, so especially in marching band, I think one of the most difficult things is just our schedule is very strenuous and very taxing. We rehearse every morning at 7 a.m. We also rehearse the color guard Mondays from 4 to 7. So that's actually happening right now. On Tuesday nights, we have another full band rehearsal from 6 to 9 p.m. Then on Thursdays, we do percussion rehearsals for a couple hours after school. And then on Fridays, we go to play at games. And that takes us usually till midnight. And then on Saturdays, we go to contest, and that's an all-day thing. So that's one of the first things, especially for new people, that they realize is that our schedule is very busy. And there's a lot of mornings when your alarm clock goes off and you just do not want to get up. But these kids know that they've got to get up. They've got to keep doing the right thing. And they've got to, the reward comes only after the hard work and only after the diligence. So that's one of the biggest things. Playing your instrument well is important. The thing people don't realize about marching band is that you are an athlete from the waist down and you are a musician from the waist up. You've got to be an excellent musician, but you've also got to be a really good athlete.
And I feel like I've heard that from somewhere. Oh yeah, my man Edward just said the same exact thing.
Yep.
The PC North and PC West bands may have been a little intimidated at first by the cameras that came to create a feature on #BandTogether. But Joseph Craven says teamwork helped them overcome their anxiousness. When Ford High School Weekly returns.
Ford High School Weekly is brought to you by Billy Sims Barbecue. It's not just barbecue, it's Boomer Q.
Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. I'm Deanna Amade. #BandTogether was successful because the pride of Putnam City North and the spirit of West bands worked together as a team. I'm guessing Putnam City West is one of your guys' competitors and one of your guys' rivals. So tell me, how was it, performing with them, and how is it competing against them?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We see them at a lot of contests. It was really interesting to see how the kids reacted, because we compete against them. They are our rivals, and it was a little interesting to sort of see how they rehearse. We went to their stadium and rehearsed with their director. So it was really interesting to see how they rehearse. You know, some of the kids were maybe a little bit sort of intimidated by what they saw, because they saw some of these other kids, you know, really working hard, and it was like, hey, that's our competition, working really hard, or, you know, giving lots of energy on the field. We better step it up. So it was really interesting to see the kids react like that. But it just took a little bit of time, and then we sort of got into a groove of, hey, yeah, we're rivals, but you know what? We're doing the same thing. We're putting a field show together. We're doing marching band. And it became a lot of fun, because suddenly we're not rehearsing with a band of 120, but we're rehearsing with a band of over 200 people, you know, and it's really exciting to be able to do that. And it was a brand new experience. So it started off a little bit, maybe we weren't sure how things were going to go, but by the time we were in the middle of rehearsal, it didn't really feel like we were rehearsing with a rival. It felt like we were rehearsing with just a larger band of our own. So that was really cool and exciting.
Do you know, or does any of the kids kind of know each other being in the same city?
You know, there may be a couple, but PC North and PC West are kind of far apart from each other. Even though the schools are not that far apart, the districts are a little farther apart. So there wasn't really a whole lot of overlap, kids that already knew each other.
So how was it performing on Friday? Because, I mean, I'm telling you, I was into the performance. Y'all did a really good job.
It was, you know, I'm not going to lie, it was a little stressful for both of us, just because there's so many moving parts and so many things that need to be figured out. And when you've got, you know, that many kids on the field, you can't just, you know, willy-nilly make a decision and expect all of them to know what's going on. So we were a little bit stressed, but, you know, as soon as we got on the field, and as soon as the show started, and as soon as the crowd got into it, that's what really kind of made it feel alive to us. And we got to kind of relax a little bit. The kids did amazing, and they were 100% on board. So once we saw that, it was really exciting. It was really exciting to see, you know, we were both in uniform, so it was really cool to see the red on one side, the blue on the other, and then halfway through the show we come together, and that was really cool. So it was just really exciting to be pumped up and to hear the audience pumped up as well.
So how did some of the kids feel about, I mean, you're used to, you know, football games here in Oklahoma, the cameras and all the, you know, the hooplas here for the football players, but this time, the majority of the cameras were there for not just the football, but for them as well. How did they feel with that kind of pressure being put on them, being on TV and being on a national commercial?
It was so cool. You know, some of the kids were a little intimidated at first, because you're absolutely right. The gear that they brought, they had these massive cranes with cameras on them. They had guys walking around with giant backpacks, cameras. You know, it was crazy. And they set up in our parking lot as well, and filled the parking lot with buses and trucks and equipment. So, you know, there was a whole lot of, you know, you could hear the kids talking, you know, did you see that camera? Did you see that? Did you see all that? They were really a little intimidated at first, but once they, you know, started doing the show and everything, it was almost like nothing was there. They really got into the zone. And so it was really exciting at first. And then they kind of got comfortable with all the cameras and all of that.
So what was the best part for you?
You know, I think the best part was in the middle of the show. I looked over at Eddie. We knew everything was going smooth, and we were like, you know what? We did it. We can relax. We can be spectators at this point. We can enjoy the show just like the audience is, and we can cheer on these kids that have been working hard, and it's all finally coming together. And that's, I think, the best part for us, because all the work is done and we just get to reap the reward.
Well, I'm telling you right now, everybody was rewarded on Friday with your guys' performances. I really do want to say thank you, and y'all did a wonderful job, and hopefully y'all have so much more success going through the season.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. We really enjoyed it, and we appreciate the kind words.
Up next on Ford High School Weekly, check out PC North and PC West marching bands as they band together.
Our goal is to unite this town.
In the end, all of us want the same thing, to get along.
1, 2, 3. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. Let's see the results of the hard work of the Putnam City West and Putnam City North bands.
Football in Oklahoma is just like religion. Oh, enemies. No friends.
The rivalry was so big. PC West one year burned a W into the field.
There's no friends on the football field.
We're better, stronger, faster.
I'm gonna demolish them.
We just gonna go out there and just dominate.
2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1.
Our goal is to unite this town.
In the end, all of us want the same thing, to get along.
1, 2, 3. Tonight's game is a special one between two rival teams. And that'll put a wrap on the first 2 quarters of football. It seems Putnam City West and Putnam City North are getting ready to take the field together. I've been doing football for 35 years. I've never seen anything like this ever before.
I have to say, pretty cool.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting goosebumps over here, Dion. This is something you don't see every day.
I got them too. Congratulations to the Spirit of West and the Pride of Putnam City North. They're among the best in Oklahoma. Hashtag band together means we can all go further when we march together. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Dion Amade.
Ford High School Weekly has been brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. And by Rib Crib, smoking good stuff since '92.